There are several ways that we can get to Google Sheets, but we're going to go through Google Drive. So we're going to go up here to the blue button and hit New and go to Google Sheets. Once it opens, just like normal, we usually want to go up here and give the Untitled Spreadsheet a name. Since we're just looking at stuff, I'm going to go ahead and skip that step and go on down here. All of these boxes are called cells. This is what makes up our spreadsheet. Then we have columns and rows. Our columns are letters and our rows are numbers. The first thing that we'll look at is how to resize these. If you go up in between your columns, you'll see that your cursor changes to arrows. And if you click and drag, you can resize those. When you're resizing things, you do not want to just keep resizing manually because you'll end up with stuff that are different sizes. So when you are resizing for projects, what you want to do is get something the size that you want it, and then you'll right click and copy, and then right click and go down to where it says insert, and you'll insert to the left or right whatever you need. In this case it doesn't matter, so I'm just going to pick one, and then you'll see you have the exact same column now. Now if we need to do this a lot, instead of just doing one over and over again, now I'll highlight both of those and do the same thing. Right click, insert to left, and then I'll highlight those 4. Insert 4 left, and then just keep going until I have as many as I need. Same thing for my rows. I can click and drag and make those bigger. So as you're making your grid for your calendar, that's how you're going to make your boxes as big as you need them for your dates. You won't necessarily start off with one big row. You just make it as whatever you need. If you need a small row and then a big row, you make the grid whatever you need to make your document look like your example. So those are your rows and your columns and how to resize those. I'm going to go ahead and undo that so it looks a little bit more normal. And then we're going to come up to our fonts. You guys are used to changing fonts. Here are your fonts. If you go down to the bottom though, this says more fonts, and this is where you can get some more interesting fonts if you scroll down, and this is where you can look for your headline fonts. Your headline fonts are going to be the ones that are designed a little bit more, like Pacifico, Shadows into Light. Those are going to be the ones that are your bigger fonts, and then your fonts like Monda, the ones that are just a little bit easier to read are going to be your secondary fonts or your subheading fonts. So you can look through here and see what you like, get stuff that looks like they go together, and then you can hit OK and you'll be able to type in those. Then you have your size, your bold and italic, which we're used to using. Here you have your text color, and this is where we're going to go to talk about our color scheme. For this assignment, we're just going to use the color that's on the color grid here. What you can do is you can use a column and make your color scheme monochromatic, which means all the same color family, or you can go left and right in the row here. Don't go all over. Keep it in the same row or the same column. So that's how you're going to use the color grid. If you want to make one row or one column a color, what you're going to do is highlight the area that you want, and then you can go to the paint bucket, and that is your fill color. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to pick a color, and it will fill in that color. Now you can see all these little squares for your cell, but once we go to print this, all of the blue lines will go away, and those are actually invisible, so those won't matter. To get the lines to matter, what we have to do is again highlight those and then go to this button where it says borders. If you click on that, these are all of your options for your borders. This one is your bottom border, so if I clicked on that, that would give these the bottom border, and it looks like I missed that one. So I'll go back and I'll pick that one up, and now I have a bottom border. If I want to, I can change that color. I can go right here and I can go over here, and this changes the border color. So if I wanted to, I could go down and I could make it a darker blue color and then go right here, and that would make my border just a little darker blue. It would be easier to see right here. I can come down and click, and now you can see that it's a darker blue color. Here we have our alignment, which you are used to using. If I put Sarah right there and make this a little bit bigger, you can see this would be left align, which it is right now, center, and then left. But if we look at the next one, this is where it is, where your text is in the cell with vertical alignment. So if I choose this one, it goes to the top, middle, or bottom. So if I wanted my text right in the middle, I could go middle alignment there and middle here, and it will show up right in the middle. This one we don't use very much, or we won't use in this assignment, sorry, but if we had a whole bunch of text and we wanted it to stay in that one cell, we could go right here and do text wrapping. That is really all that we will be using for your calendar organizer project. You should be ready to start creating your grid for your calendar. Just pull up your example. What I would do is do multi-window right here, pull up your paper, and you can do Control- to come out a little bit, and then have your example if you want to, and have your document on one side and have your example, and start building your calendar. You do want to pay attention to your margins. Your K column is really where you should kind of stay in between, depending on how skinny you make your rows. But kind of use K as your guideline, and then we can look at how your document will print off and where you need to keep your stuff on your page to make sure it doesn't get cut off when you print. Sorry, I lost my words there for a second. So let's go ahead and get started on your calendars, and if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know.